Hello, my name is Tim, my company is Sports and Touring, and we are Jaguar F-Type specialists. Now, I am very excited today because I have something to show you which is unique. Why? Well, imagine that a car manufacturer's brochures are like the menu in a restaurant. You sit at your table, you thumb through the menu, you identify the item which is closest to what you would like to eat, and you order it. Some restaurants encourage you to order off menu, and they say, if there's something you'd like that we haven't described, please tell us and our chefs will make it for you. And Jaguar do exactly the same thing. In fact, they've got a team of people whose role is in part to prepare those special one-off cars. That team is called Special Vehicle Operations, and this F-Type is an F-Type produced by Special Vehicle Operations at Jaguar, which makes it a bespoke F-Type, a unique one-off, and I'm very excited indeed to show you around. This is a very good-looking F-Type indeed. First, let's talk about the paint. Now, usually manufacturers have snazzy names for the paint shades on their vehicles, but not in this case. It, in fact, took a little bit of research to discover that this paint is BASF MG173.74. It doesn't have a name. It is a very beautiful shade of satin grey. From different angles, it picks up light around it, and one thing we have noticed is that occasionally it picks up, and maybe you can just see it there momentarily, a very slight olive greenish tint, which is very attractive indeed. If you look at the photographs of the car, which we shoot in front of a building which has an awful lot of green on the front of it in the various bits of cladding and the doors, you will see that green picked up quite significantly in this car. But as so often with these unusual paint shades, the thing to do is to get up right close to it in good light and see that this is, without question, a grey paint. It has a beautiful texture to it. It's in excellent condition, I must say, the bodywork all around. And it has this beautiful satin sheen. It is a very, very attractive colour indeed. And then, of course, it's matched with the design pack, needless to say, the side skirts in body colour, the rear diffuser in gloss black. The SVR spoiler, which is in the up position there, is of course carbon fibre with gloss black tips. This car has the carbon fibre lightweight roof, carbon fibre mirror caps, side badges, bonnet vents and front splitter. And if we look at the wheels, we see they are the Maelstrom wheels in black with diamond turned face, but the black is not a gloss black. It is a beautiful matte black which goes fabulously well with the satin paint on the car. And of course you'll notice there that this vehicle is fitted with ceramic brakes. You can see the ceramic disc and the ceramic brake calipers, which usually in the F-Type world are rendered in bright yellow paint, as you can see on the red SVR just behind this one. In this case, on this very special bespoke F-Type, they are in gloss black with white badging. So, while I would dare say quite understated, this is a very good looking car indeed. If you're an enthusiast who looks forward to going to car meets, track days, those kinds of things, this car is really going to turn heads and spark conversations. Not only for its unique palette, but for the fact that it is, to all intents and purposes, a lightweight F-Type. The original purchaser specified very few of the optional extras, and that has the effect, of course, of making this car lighter and therefore faster. Let's take a look inside. The car will be supplied, of course, with 2 remote key fobs and the owner's book pack. But among the options on the car, alongside power fold mirrors, by the way, is keyless entry. So long as you've got the key in your pocket or bag or whatever about your person somewhere, just tap the button there and the door handle deploys, the power fold mirrors move out, and the car is unlocked. And I'll mention, by the way, just before we look in the car, that with the keyless entry system, you can also lock the car simply by tapping the door handle like so, and that locks the car as you're leaving it behind you. Anyway, onwards, and let's take a look inside the cockpit. And the first highly noticeable thing here is this tread plate. You can see bespoke by SVO, a tread plate installed only on those F-types which have the attention of special vehicle operations, and which shows that this car has received that unique treatment. Then the interior finish is black, or jet, as Jaguar call it, lozenge leather, this beautiful perforated leather finish with white contrast stitching. This car does have Meridian surround sound, the top sound package available, and it has the 12-way memory seats with electric lumbar support. They are fully electric seats. All of the seat functions are on electric motor. And panning around inside, we can see the beautiful lozenge leather continues on the seats, and we have the SVR logo there on the headrest. These are, needless to say, the performance seats. And we can sit down into the car like so. Pull the door closed with a very satisfying clunk, which indicates the build quality, of course, and we'll take a look around further. And between the headrests there, we've got a handy little mesh stowage. Under that, you'll see there a badge, which again says bespoke by SVO, hand-built by Special Vehicle Operations. And this is the only F-Type we have seen from SVO. Very few were specified from them, and they are very special things indeed. As we carry on, we've got the armrest, of course, with a little cubby hole there, HDMI connector, USB connectors, a slot for the micro SIM, the 12-volt supply, and an auxiliary input for the sound system. Forward of that, the drinks holders there, so 2 cups and a little recess in the middle, which will take one of those small cans of Red Bull or whatever your preferred fizzy drink is when you're on the move. And to continue our inspection inside, we'll fire up the supercharged V8 with the stop-start button there. As we do that, you'll see the instrument binnacle do its self-test flying display, and the centre air vent will rise up into position. That gorgeous exhaust note from this Jaguar engine. It is a very throaty noise and a very pleasant noise. We're at the higher revs, of course, at the moment, which the engine settles down to when first started from cold in order to protect the catalytic converter. And back to the centre area of the cockpit, we've got the 4 buttons here for Eco Stop Start Defeat, for the spoiler, which is up at the moment, so if we press that button we can lower the spoiler there like so, and we can raise it again. Traction control on off, a very exciting button to play with. Please do so the first time in careful and considered circumstances on a dry surface, and ideally on a racetrack or somewhere like that where you've got plenty of room around you. We've got the switchable active sports exhaust button, so those 2 valves in the exhaust system which increase the exhaust note, make the car a bit louder and more growly for your sporty driving. Electronic parking brake with hill start assist, of course, and as the revs fall to their normal rev value now that the catalytic converter's warmed up a little, we come to the driving mode selector switch. In standard or normal driving mode at the moment, if we move it forward, we can see the symbol light up to tell us that we're in rain, ice and snow mode. So this is a very powerful car with very wide tyres. It's got the performance tyres on it, of course. That makes it a bit of a handful on a slippery, snowy, icy surface. Rain, ice and snow mode really calms things down and makes it much easier to drive in those conditions. We come back into standard driving mode and into dynamic driving mode. The checkered flag lights up, and on the dashboard we have dynamic mode confirmed, and the dashboard or the instrument binnacle lights up in red to tell us that we are now in dynamic driving mode. And in this mode, well, we can go over here to the infotainment system and use the dynamic eye screen to see that we're presently in the factory setup, with the engine, gear shift, suspension and steering all in dynamic mode. If you wanted a smoother ride while you're driving in a sporty style, you can select comfort suspension, which takes you into my setup on the dynamic eye system. Also through this page we access the stopwatch with the lap timer, G meter and the pedal position indicator. You can see I've got my foot on the brake at the moment, and that also has a graph which shows the last 2 minutes of pedal activity. Okay, we'll go back to the home screen there and come out of dynamic driving mode and take a look at the shift stick. It's such a beautiful piece of design. It falls perfectly to the hand. There's the trigger on the front so that you can activate the shift stick and move into drive. So 2 gearbox modes on the F-Type. We're in standard drive mode at the moment. And if we move the shift stick to the side, we move into sport gearbox mode, and that means that the shifts reflect a sportier style of driving, the need to accelerate more aggressively. It shifts down earlier, it shifts up at an appropriate moment depending on what you're doing with the car. And you can also, in sport gearbox mode, use the shift stick itself to change gear. Of course, you've always got the flappy paddles on the steering wheel, which enable you to change gear without taking your hands off the wheel, which is important for maintaining 100% correct car control while you're enjoying this fabulous F-Type and its massive performance capabilities. Okay, back to the center console here. We'll pop the car into park and have a look at the climate controls. We've got auto climate, air conditioning, timed recirculation, of course, and the front and rear demist buttons. Temperature control, which in this car is single zone, and we move on up to the infotainment system. Very fully featured. We're on the home page here. We can go left to a configurable home page where you select your own particular shortcuts to enable you to access the things you need most frequently in a very straightforward way. Back to the home page, you can see we have media, which is turned off at the moment. I'll turn that on. At present, we're listening to DAB music through BBC Six Music through the DAB receiver. We've also got online media, Bluetooth from the phone, the media library built into the car, and there is FM and AM radio as well. Back to the home screen, you see the Bluetooth telephony button. Climate there enables us to select different airflow around the car, and then the satellite navigation option. If you do purchase an F-Type from us, we'll explain to you how to get set up with Jaguar's in-control account and get set up with the car so that you are signed in to the vehicle. But even if you haven't done that, you can still use the satellite navigation. It's lovely and clear. It's a big screen, very easy to use, very intuitive, and you know, we get very positive feedback on Jaguar's satellite navigation system from people who've purchased F-Types from us. Continuing on round the cockpit, we've got, of course, this beautiful suede cloth of the SVR cockpit, and the steering wheel, which is a lightweight, narrow wheel. Very often we see suede applied to the thicker steering wheels, which some performance drivers prefer, but this one is a beautiful piece of work. We've got the suede inserts for the hand grips left and right, and leather top and bottom, with of course the SVR logo there. And on the wheel itself, the left thumb cluster has the infotainment buttons and Bluetooth telephony button. On the left hand stalk there, we've got the automatic headlamps. On the right hand thumb cluster, the cruise control and active speed limiter, and on the right hand stalk we've got the rain sensitive wipers. And then down by my right knee, we've got the lane departure warning button, the tailgate release, rear fog light, and the dimmer for the instrument binnacle as well. All very well laid out, very easy to use. The ergonomics in the F-Type are fantastic. I was driving a German car recently, I won't say which manufacturers, and just trying out to work out how to do a couple of really basic things with the climate system was very difficult indeed. Jaguar are all over that with a very intuitive cockpit in the F-Type, which also, I have to say, looks just so good. This beautiful hand grip that punctuates the driver's side of the cockpit from the passengers in particular is a favourite of mine, but all of these compound curves and the beautiful textures of the materials used in the cockpit are very fine indeed. Okay, we'll switch the engine off and take a look in the boot. Whether this is a car which you're thinking about for a daily driver, perhaps, I mean, it wouldn't be madness to do that because the F-Type is so easy to live with. But it's more likely it's going to be a vehicle that someone will have for high days and holidays, maybe a bit of touring. And in that case, the boot space is very important. Jaguar know this. And although the F-Type is undoubtedly a sports car, not a grand tourer, they have nonetheless fitted a very large boot, over 300 litres of space. It's designed so that you can put golf clubs in, you put them in diagonally, and then sweep them round like so, so they lie across the wide area at the back of the boot, which extends behind the rear wheel arches on both sides. And as long as you pack soft-sided cases, you'll easily get everything you need in here for a lengthy trip away. There's also, by the way, of course, under this panel here, a little cubby hole into which you might choose to put your various bits of driving paraphernalia for your road trip. Again, you can see everything in beautiful condition. This car is a low mileage example. It's clearly been very carefully looked after and cherished, and the boot, as in the rest of the vehicle inside and out, is in fantastic condition, having never been abused. There are no marks or stains in there to speak of at all. Okay, we'll close the boot down and have a look in the passenger side of the car. And again, we'll see that the door card with this beautiful lozenge leather is in perfect order. We have the bespoke tread plate again, and the cockpit, dashboard, carpet and mat, center console, and this beautiful jet leather performance seat, all in perfect condition. This car is in, I have to say, most impressive order throughout. Okay, we'll move on and have a look under the bonnet. The F-Type bonnet is a very large bit of structure indeed. The reason for that is to keep weight down and yet make servicing easy by improving access for the technicians. And under the bonnet there is the supercharged 5-litre V8 engine producing 567 horsepower or 575 PS, and driving this F-Type from 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds and on up to a top speed of 200 miles per hour. I should mention, to achieve that top speed, you put the car into VMAX mode by selecting dynamic driving mode and pressing and holding the spoiler button. That locks the spoiler in the down position to minimize drag and give you access to the car's top speed. Again, you can see under the bonnet everything is in perfect order. The car's service history is excellent, with main dealers up until last year, when it had the attention of one of the most renowned Jaguar independent specialists. I will mention, by the way, being an SVR, this car doesn't have the plastic engine cover. That's removed in order to assist with cooling of the engine here, and instead the SVRs have this metal plate under the bonnet, which protects from the consequences of all of that heat. Again, in all ways, this car is in amazing condition for its age and mileage. It really is a very splendid thing indeed. And having run through some figures there about performance, I should say again that the F-Type isn't just about straight line speed. It isn't about supercar velocities. It's about the experience that you have sitting there at the steering wheel, the way that the car connects you and your journey and the road. And it does so in just the most sublime way possible. So thank you very much indeed for watching. It has been a great pleasure to show you this Jaguar F-Type. We're Sports and Touring. We're just outside Andover in Hampshire. We're open 7 days a week by appointment only. You're very welcome to telephone, email or WhatsApp us if you've got any questions, or if you'd like to see this car in person or by video call. It'll be a pleasure to send you a link to the Google Drive. That is our online folder for this car with higher resolution images which you can zoom in on and PDF copies of important documents. If on your buying journey you have a car to dispose of, we'll give you frank and honest advice about the best way to achieve the maximum value with the minimum inconvenience. And if you'd like to chat about finance, we can do that as well. We're authorised and regulated by the FCA, and we work with a really brilliant team of brokers. Do please take a few moments to read our reviews in Auto Trader. I'm very proud indeed of the things our previous customers say about us. And I'll close by saying thank you once again. Please feel free to like and subscribe to us here on our growing YouTube channel, and we will look forward to hearing from you very soon indeed.